Today I'll be demonstrating how to graph a polynomial function. So our first step is to find the roots of our first term and our last term. And as you can see, I've already done that right over here. And after that, we take those terms and try to find a term that will make our polynomial function equal to 0. And I can already tell you that -1 will work out nicely, but we can just check to make sure. So -1, 2, -5. So that's going to get us -2, -1, +5, -2. And if you add those all together, that gives us 0. Now after we've done that, we can use synthetic division to factor out our original polynomial to make it a nicer number. And we just put our leading coefficients here. So -1, -5, -2. And now we always bring down our first number. And then we multiply this number with this number, and that's going to give us -2, and we just place it right here and add those two numbers together, which will give us -3. So after that, we just continue multiplying. So -3 times -1 gives us +3. Add those two together, -2. Multiply those out, gives us +2. Add them together, and we get a remainder of 0. So what essentially we just did was we factored out x plus 1 from our original polynomial function. And we also reduced the degree by 1 for each term. So that becomes 2x squared minus 3x minus 2. And now we can still factor out this bit over here. And we can do that by doing decomposition. And so we have to find something that adds up to -3 but multiplies out to -4. And if you haven't figured it out already, -4 and 1 fits, so just do 2x squared minus 4x plus 1x minus 2. And then after that, you just do grouping. So you can group these two together. And so you can factor out a 2x on this side, which will leave you with x minus 2. And you can factor out a 1 on this side. Now you leave you with x minus 2. And then your fully factored polynomial function will look something like this. X plus 1, x minus 2, and 2x plus 1. And now what we can do with this now is we can solve for the x-intercepts by solving for x. So x is equal to -1, -1/2, and 2. So after we have the x-intercepts, we can begin plotting some points on our graph. So we know that one of the points will be at -1, another point will be at -1/2, and then another point would be at 2. And before we continue graphing, we want to solve for all the points in between. So in this case, we want to solve for the point for 1 and our y-intercept. And to do that, we just substitute 1 into the x, and then use our original formula. 1 plus 1, 1 minus 2, 2 times 1 plus 1, and that gives you -6. And then to find the y-intercept, we just substitute x with 0, and that's going to be 1 minus 2 times 1 will be -2. And now that we have those values, we can just plot. So our y-intercept will be 2, and 1 will have a y value of -6. And now before we sketch our curves, we want to note that our original polynomial function has a degree of 3. And since that's odd, our graph will have endpoint behaviors of left down, right up. So left down goes through this first point here, goes through these other points, and end with right up. And that's what our graph will look like in the end. Thanks for watching.